Hi guys. Hi y'all. Tune in. Reviving my YouTube channel. Because low-key this isn't my first video. But reviving it, I think, in a more fun way. And something that feels fun, really great to ease into before I start having educational sit-downs, verbal essays breaking down principles and concepts within spirituality, gifts, stuff like that. I want to just start on a very easy note because outside of that I do other things as well, and I'm hoping to even expand a lot more things that I can do. Subscribe, if you will. Please subscribe. And when I start getting it, watch my age, because I would love to refurbish my violin, actually, because I am musically starving. My violin was here for like, I guess, a good 8 years, and then my cousins trashed it, and they don't want to admit that they trashed my violin. And my soul is just calling to the violin. I used to play violin as a kid, so I want to refurbish my violin. I don't have to buy a new one, TBH. And I used to have two, and then I think at some stage I might not have forgotten, I might not have remembered, but I think I might have consented to my mom selling one, and I was like, oh, I still have the other one, of which she sold the wrong one. She sold the full-sized one, and now I'm left with the half-sized, and I can still use it. And I feel like until I get my full-sized one, I'm just gonna refurbish this one. So please subscribe so I can refurbish my violin. Anyways, intro. Hi, I'm Jew. This is Soraya Universe. Oh no, Soraya Studios. Yes, Soraya Studios, which is my universe, Juniverse, where I post about everything spirituality, my interests and quirks, cringes, pet peeves. There also will be mostly what you're gonna get here is crochet content and educational content about spirituality, and in between a couple of other stuff, cute vlogs. I'm thinking of giving y'all some tutorials because you're gonna see what level I'm at with being a fiber artist and crochet designer. So I definitely do want to start giving you guys some tutorials to get into the vibe so I can eventually start selling patterns. I feel like that's the best way to maximize your crochet career, getting into selling patterns as well, so you make money while sleeping, because I feel like constantly having to produce leaves you in a perpetual state of production. I once caught a video from another crochet creator on TikTok where they spoke about how the burnout and depression they got into because they were making the same pieces, or if not the same pieces, they were just dealing with orders back to back to back to back. With me, I'm dealing with designing back to back, and then when you squeeze in orders, it's an order, and then sometimes I abandon the new designs that I'm doing because I'm just in a perpetual state of fulfilling orders, which I absolutely love, but then sometimes creatively it can send things downhill. Send things downhill for just a little bit, which is why it's great to be honest about your production time, and your production time shouldn't be the exact amount of time you are going to spend producing the thing. It needs to be that, but with breaks as well, because one thing I don't want to get hand arthritis from my talents and my creations. But yeah, that's the type of content that you're gonna get. I typically go on a lot of tangents. I hope it's entertaining, but give me some feedback. Tell me how you feel, how was the flow of the video, stuff like that. We're gonna get into a bit of a, I don't know, a hump I experienced. I initially was going to buy some fabric and a needle, but this machine that I've had for a couple of months that I haven't checked, I haven't tested, I haven't tried, that I thought just needed a needle, kind of sent me down a spiral. So yeah, let's just roll the clip. Welcome to the revival of my sewing journey, where I just realized This machine that I've had for like 6 months, I guess a friend gave it to me and was like, hey, you can use this, I don't need it anymore. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, I want to go and check if I do have everything, because he told me that, oh, you only need the needle. I just didn't provide the needle. So I'm like, let me open this up before I go to the store and get the needle and see if I do indeed have everything. I don't have my stand for, I think, for my, what do you call this? My thread. My thread. At least there is, the bobbin thing is actually here. There is a bobbin, whatever in here. But I don't have the stands, which is fine. I guess I'll just have to improvise and do something. Put a stick there, whatever. I don't know. But I'm like, I know they gave me the size of the needles that I need. But I'm like, let me double check and see. So when I go to the store and I tell them the model of that machine, what I need, I had to scrape this off just to see their name. I don't know if the person who gave me painted this machine or someone else painted it. I don't know what would provoke someone to paint over an entire machine to a point where they're painting over useful, important information. Okay, sharp. Even if you know the model because you bought it, that's fine. Let me show you the other side. I've spent at least a good 10 minutes trying to scrape off this paint so I can see these symbols. I've actually even scraped off a portion of the symbols, so I'm using a knife. I don't want to have to go and get paint remover just to fucking see this. Like, I personally don't know what would provoke someone to point every inch of their machine. Like, I really don't. And then now this side, it doesn't have symbols. Or am I tripping? Because I could see some of these through the paint. That's why I knew I had to do that. Let me scrape with my nails, just that I hate doing it with my nails. I'm so cringe. Yeah, but you see, it doesn't always work if I do it with my nails. And this one is driving me crazy. But yeah, man, I think I really do just need the needle. I'm gonna hope for the best because I have so many outfits I want to cook and I don't want to hand sew those things. And the crazy thing is I do have another sewing machine, the crank one. Okay, let's do a quick vlog where we look at that as well and also open it up, because shame if I leave it unattended forever. I might open it up one day and discover a horde of spiders. Okay, so I am back and I ended up not actually getting the needle for the sewing machine. But I didn't go too far either. I actually ended up canceling that because I don't know. Right now, approaching launching some new items and trying to put together a giveaway, I feel like potentially hyperfixating on making clothes with a sewing machine, like fabric stuff, not fiber, yarn, which, you know, I am a hooker. I'm a hooker and I love being a hooker. I love my crochet hooks and I love my fiber, and also I am reaching a new turning point. Just wanted to show you guys, like, I'm not an actual hooker. Don't guess that shit up. That is so not true. I'm at a turning point where I'm extremely comfortable and I'm doing more advanced crocheting patterns. Well, crochet patterns. So I don't want to do something that is potentially going to fuck with my, not like self-esteem, but my self-esteem within my craft, of which sometimes if I keep trying something over and over and I feel like it's sucking away a lot of my time, it's going to low-key push me into a bit of like a mini creative depression. So I don't want to do that right now. I was kind of excited until I saw the machine. It looks like it's working and I'm sure it probably is, but then there's certain aspects Like, I feel like you've seen in the previous video that this thing is gonna need me to figure it out, learn it, and I'm gonna make mistakes, and then now I'm gonna now I'm gonna mess up my fabric. I don't want. Yeah, I'm much more excited to release some of my crochet pieces, and there is going to be a upcycling piece I'm gonna make, but I'm gonna do that by hand. I'm okay with doing that by hand. I think working with fiber and yarn has made me acclimatized to the amount of time needed for handwork. So I'm cool with actually getting into handwork with like hand sewing things together. And there's so many techniques that I've witnessed via this other creator on Instagram where some of the older garments within fashion and history lasted so long because they were hand sewn in these very specific techniques where even if you get something done or you purchase something from a designer or a store that it's all custom, it's couture, or it's just made with really good technique, machines for some odd reason, not for some odd reason, for a very obvious reason, actually do not triumph some of the much older stitching techniques that can only be done by hand. So I low-key want to get into that because I'm low-key, my mind is starting to it has swallowed the concept or the idea of embroidery, especially sashiko. Let me drink some water. Let me drink some water. Because I don't know what that was about. I need tea, actually, as much as my throat is still dry. I have become super obsessed with sashiko embroidery. Not only with the way they fix garments or like revive or upcycle garments, I think just the patterns and everything in general. I think something probably in me, or just there's a certain African creative gene that just sprung towards that, because I think we also do have quite a few embroidery or pattern making with embroidery techniques within our traditional garment spaces that is like, oh, I want to do this, I want to engage with that. And also I love some of the geometric things that people do with sashiko, and that is definitely the Ndebele in me, where I'm like, oh, I love these patterns, I love this, I love that. Yeah, just a little bit of just something of like a look into my brain. Right now I'm super excited to complete the last elements of this dress. Let me stand up so I can show you guys, but I'm not gonna put the camera to be vertical just because of YouTube documenting Shandi's. Let me take this off. But yeah, I'm super excited to drop this dress, which this is one of the advanced patterns I have gotten into. The bra, the cups, super easy. But I fully made this and crafted this pattern from my own mind, and did the garment design all on my own, the measurements and everything. As much as I do that for everything else, and I've been at it for like 2 years, but there's just something about figuring out the parameters and the numbers around getting something like this. I don't know, I'm super proud of myself. I'm super proud of myself. I also have a couple of more. That is my little brother who is running all over the place. I'm not gonna chop and screw this video, honestly, but yeah, that's him. I should have been using my microphone. Anyways, yeah, I'm super proud. I don't think you guys can see the pattern properly yet. Let me actually get closer to the camera. Yeah, I'm just super proud that I was able to do this on my own. Okay, I was a little bit disturbed. My cousin just popped in to say hi, but okay, all in all I'm just saying is that I'm super proud of this, and there's a couple of more designs that are a lot more advanced techniques that I really, really want to get into. So I don't think I have time for a sewing machine right now. I have time to hand stitch a couple of things, but I won't lie. I think it takes a while before your creative identity feels more secure, where even if you mess up certain things, you don't take it to heart, you don't take it to chest. I don't know if it's just because I'm a little bit sensitive, but then again, I'm in a better place where I have more control of my time and my energy. So that might not be the case anymore. I remember one time, actually, wait, yeah, should I? One time, or well, earlier on this year, when I was working on this, I was working on this Granny Square project that was supposed to be for someone, but is it weird for me to say that something in me just could not get this project to come out right? Not only because I don't really like Granny Square, and I was like, bruh, I don't like Granny Square. Well, it's my ex-partner. I was making him something at the time, so I was like, okay, if this is what you want, let me just make it. But I don't only just like Granny Square, but I guess there was something where I wasn't too elated about, the circumstances relating to me having to do this project. I feel like also emotionally in the relationship, I just wasn't feeling that great. I don't know if that's low-key that thing where crocheters say if you make a sweater for him, he's gonna leave or he's gonna cheat on you, some shit like that. I didn't get cheated on. That's not why things ended. But yeah, I was working on this, and when this project came out too big, like these pants are humongous. They're pants, by the way, and I'm gonna take them apart because I ended up not giving them to him, and we don't talk anymore. And I'm gonna make a dress instead, and it's probably gonna be the last time, unless I get paid copious amounts of money. It's probably gonna be the last time I do a Granny Square. I know there's people who love it, but I hate it. For me, the difference between the amount of work for this versus this, it's a two different. This is easier for me than this, and this is a lot faster. Once you start getting a rhythm of what your pattern is, it becomes therapeutic. But this whole thing of you do the center, you do the middle, you do the outside, and then the part that always dribbles me, that feels like just way more work because you're working with these like squares that you've stitched and you can't modify calculating the measurements to be the exact amount of like for example with pants, the circumference of someone's waist, where it's like these squares are all 10 13 centimeters, for example, and their waist is 86, and it doesn't divide equally. That shit kind of pisses me off. I don't like the aspect of doing uh, garment design with Granny Square. I want it to be just some, I don't know. I just hate it. I'm sure it's probably a lot easier than I think, but I'm also just hate the idea of doing all of this little stuff where you could have 100 of these mini pieces and you spend quite a bit of time, but you still have to do a second row, a third row, and then a fourth row. It's such an extended project that I absolutely cannot stand. Oh my gosh, I can't stand it, personally speaking. But yeah, it sent me into a creative depression because after making these squares, and then while I was busy with the project, this ex-partner at the time was like, oh, let me look at the size. And I was like, oh no, I feel like this is gonna come out small. And I was like, "Ish." And then I deeped what he said, made it bigger, made it too big, right? This shit is so annoying. I don't know, there was something about this project that just pissed me the fuck off. TBH. Yeah, gonna take it apart, make a dress. Because I feel like a dress would be a lot cuter. You know, it could be, a skirt situation, skirt and top, or I don't know, but I feel like a dress would be much better. It'd be so cute. Plus, I love the granny square dresses where it's like the squares are like these just cute triangles that cover the UBs. Um, yeah, and just the backless element of granny square summer dresses. But that's pretty much it. I'll do a granny square hat because you know it's also crazy. The first time I did this granny square project and someone placed an order, I messed that thing up too, but I fixed it. Obviously, I would never give a client like a messed up project. But what was supposed to take 2 weeks, Loki took me 3 weeks. I had to buy some new yarn because I made the squares too big. Because even that gent was like, I have a big head, which is crazy to say. Like, he made it seem like his head is ginormous. Like, there's some men I know, yeah, I know they have big heads, you know? But like your head is normal sized. I don't know why you need to emphasize that when like most hats, especially something as durable and malleable as yarn, it's not gonna be this thing where it's like a cap that's too small to fit on your head. But at the time I was in my designer infancy, I messed that up, made the hat way too big. Like he was swimming in the hat. I was swimming in the hat when I tried it. But I don't know what was going on with my mental at the time. I was just like, so he came to pick it up, and I think that was the cool thing. The fact that he wanted to pick it up, I let him try it on, and he was like, no, it's too big. I was like, I'm so sorry. Can I please redo this? And I will even just ship it to you. But he's like, no, 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 it's cool. I'll just come pick it up because actually he was someone who was coming back into the country, a dude who stays overseas or whatever. So I was also being dribbled by time. Oh my gosh. This is my verbal essay of just how much I dislike granny squares, and every time I do that, mm-mm, there's just something I think I just don't like very angular things, which is contradictory to me saying that I'm very enticed and seduced by the geometric shapes of sashiko embroidery, but I don't like them squares and things in garment construction. Let's rather say that. This is like a jagged or fuck it. Yeah, I think maybe jaggeds. You know, bottoms just bottoms have the potential to dribble you out of nowhere. But then again, yeah, I don't know. For if granny square projects, personally speaking, I think this is just my little entry for the day. I'm actually, I'm not hungry. Little bit hungry, but not that much. I'm ready to take this wig off, you know. I need to add the straps to my dress, and then I'm going to start preparing dinner pretty soon. I like to cook at like around 4 o'clock, so I'm gonna do that. Oh, the other thing I also bought was this wine with dinner, or probably after dinner. Gonna grab a glass, finish another project. If I can fix my lighting, then you will see some more footage after this and have a look at the other project that I'm working on. Yeah.